Welcome to Latin for Beginners. This course uses a traditional method of classical Latin instruction which emphasizes reading skills. This makes it possible to start with a classic public domain textbook, Latin for Beginners by Benjamin L. Duge, and boost its effectiveness with an online tool that greatly increases the number of exercises accompanying each lesson. The text may be found at gutenberg.org. A link is in the video description. The online tool, as well as additional resources and materials for the course, may be found at selfstudyclassics.com. This video covers Lesson 4 of the text. If you haven't read over that portion of the text, please stop and do so now. That way you'll get the most out of the time you spend watching. In Lesson 3, we had learned the forms of the accusative and genitive. In Lesson 4, we are learning how to use those forms in Latin sentences. As in previous videos, we will work some example exercises in order to nail down the concepts in the lesson. Our first exercise is to translate ferae causae fugae sunt. First, we'll try to identify the forms and parts of speech of the words in the sentence. Ferae is a noun. Its ending could either be nominative plural or genitive singular. We'll leave it blank for now. Causa is also a noun. Its ending suggests that it is nominative singular. Please forgive the abbreviations. Some of the slides will get crowded, and the abbreviations are helpful in conserving space. Fugae is yet another noun, but it also has the AE ending. So we know very little about two of the words in this sentence at this point. Sunt is a verb, and the form of the verb to be, so it looks like it's a copula. It has the plural form, so it's sunt instead of est. Let's see what we can learn from the relationships between the words in this sentence. The first thing to notice is that there is a noun in the nominative here that can't be the subject. Causa is singular and does not agree with the verb sunt, which is in the plural form. The only other use for the nominative which we have studied so far is the predicate noun. So let's go on the assumption that causa is a predicate noun which acts as a description of the subject. We'll use an orange line to the copula to indicate that. So the claim of the sentence is that something is a cause. Is the something ferae, beasts, or fugae, flights? Well, both are possible, but if we choose fugae as the subject, that means ferae is not the subject. It must be a genitive singular and have a possessive role. The possible meanings would be the flights are the cause of the beast, or the flights of the beast are the cause, both of which seem fine as far as syntax goes, but a little odd when you try to make some sense out of them. On the other hand, if you choose ferae as the subject, then fugae is in the possessive role, and the possible meanings become the beasts of flight are the cause, or the beasts are the cause of the flight. That last one actually makes some sense, so we'll go with that and draw the subject relation from ferae to sunt, and the possessive relation from fugae to causae. That makes ferae nominative plural and fugae genitive singular. So to assign meanings to all the words, ferae is the beasts, causa is the cause, fugae is of the flight, and sunt is are. Putting it all together, we have the beasts are the cause of the flight. Let's try another. Silvas et aquas amant. Let's identify the forms. Silvas is a noun, and its form is accusative plural. Et is a conjunction, a word that can connect words or phrases of the same type into a compound, like and or in English. Aquas is another noun, which also has the ending of the accusative plural. Amant is a verb that is transitive. The nt ending marks the plural form. Now for the relations between words. Et will link two words or phrases with the same role into a compound. It is between silvas and aquas, both of which have the same form, so let's proceed on the assumption that they form a compound, which we'll indicate with a purple arrow. The form that they share is accusative, and there is a transitive verb, so the compound is the direct object of amant. We'll draw the arrow to the connector of the compound. That accounts for all the words, and we have not yet identified a subject. This means the subject is implied by the form of the verb. The form of the verb is third person plural, so the pronoun implied is the third person plural pronoun, which is they. Now we can fill in the meanings. Silwas is the forests. Et is and. Aquas is the waters. And amant is they love, with they implied by the form. Rearranging this into English word order, we have they love the forests and the waters. Our next sentence is a question. Quis injuriam dominarum nuntiat? Quis is what is called an interrogative pronoun. That's the grammatical term for pronouns that take the place of an unknown noun in a question, such as who and what in English. Its form is nominative singular. Injuriam is a noun. Its ending indicates that its case is accusative and its number is singular. Dominarum is a noun with the ending of the genitive plural. Nuntiat is a verb and it is transitive. It has the ending of the singular form. That's it for the forms. Now let's look at the relations. We have a third person singular pronoun. Note that all interrogative pronouns are third person in the nominative, which agrees with the third person singular form of the verb. So quis is the subject of nuntiat. Nuntiat is transitive, so it wants a direct object, and we find a noun in the accusative, injuriam, to fill that role. Dominarum is the genitive plural, is right next to injuriam, and makes the most sense in the possessive relation to that noun. Now that we have all the relationships worked out, we can fill in the meanings. Quis means who. Injuriam means the injury. Dominarum means of the ladies, and nuntiat means announces. Now let's put this question in English word order. Who announces the injury of the ladies? Okay, next example. Let's do some English to Latin. We'll start with whose girl is he carrying? We'll reverse the Latin to English process and first look at the relationships between the words. Whose has a possessive relation with girl, so let's note that with an arrow. Girl is the receiver of the action of the verb, in other words, the thing being carried, so we'll connect that to the verb with a direct object relation. Now let's determine the forms of the Latin words we will need. Whose is an interrogative pronoun, so it will be some form of quis. Because it is in a possessive role, it will need to be in the genitive, and it is singular. So the exact form we need here is quius. Girl is a noun, and the Latin word for girl is puella. Because it is in the direct object role, we need the accusative case, and the number is singular. So we are looking for the am ending, and the inflection is puellam. In Latin, the three words is he carrying can all be expressed with a verb form. The verb for carries is portat, and the subject, he, is singular, so we can keep it in the singular form. So the correct inflection is portat. That leaves us with quis puellam portat. Let's try another English to Latin. The moon is the cause of fortunes. As with the previous sentence, we'll do the relations between the words first. The moon and is are subject and verb. The cause is a predicate noun connected to the subject by the copula is. Fortunes has a possessive relation to the cause. All right, now we can determine the forms. The moon is a noun, and the Latin word for it is luna. It is acting as a subject of the sentence, so we need a form which is in the nominative case and which is singular. That form is simply the a ending, and so the correct inflection is luna. Is a form of the verb to be, so we know that we are looking for some form of the Latin est. To agree with the subject, luna, we need the singular form, which is simply est. Next we have the cause, which is a noun, and the Latin equivalent is causa. Our verb is a copula, and this is a predicate noun, so we are looking for the nominative case here, and the singular form. That ending is a, so the correct inflection is causa. Finally, we have the phrase of fortunes, which equates to a noun form in Latin. The word for fortune is fortuna. The role in the sentence is possessive, so we are looking for the genitive case and the plural number. The appropriate ending would be arum, and the resulting inflection would be fortunarum. Now let's put the words together. luna est causa fortunarum. Or, if you want a more Latin word order, move the verb to the end and say luna causa fortunarum est. Alright, that concludes our examples of how to use the accusative and genitive cases in sentences. The best way to achieve mastery of these concepts is to work a lot of exercises, and you can find plenty over at selfstudyclassics.com. Head to the practice section and choose Lesson 4. Once you feel confident about the Lesson 4 material, keep an eye out for the video on Lesson 5 of Latin for Beginners. Thanks for watching.